Bilingual education emerging significance. More and more, as we move towards the 21st century, the significance of bilingual education will become clearer. However, though we might still be clouded by our ideologies of monolingual education and think that the best education is the education that is only in a standard language. So, Mulhosler since 2000 and 2002 has been advocating an ecological approach to language education and to languages in general. Now, what does an ecological approach entail? It says that as in a natural environment, you have different species in their own habitats which are interdependent on each other for different functions. Similarly, languages also in today's world exist in an ecological environment. They have their own specific communities. Not only that, they are also performing different functions, and similarly, they are interdependent on each other. Now, that kind of equilibrium, he says, bilingual education should maintain. That means it should not disturb the existing equilibrium of the languages that are there in the societies. And that is the balancing act that is the challenge of bilingual education. The point of all this is that he argues that the children must be able to manage the linguistic ecology and to self-regulate their behavior in such a way that it enables them to unleash their potential. Now, what does this theoretically statement means? This means that if our children know, for instance, in Pakistani context, English, Urdu, Punjabi or Sindhi or Pashto, they should be able to retain those languages and keep on using those languages rather than give up one language and or two languages just to learn English or just to learn Urdu. So if a child living in a multilingual community knows not just Pashto but also Punjabi and also Sindhi, which might as well be the case if you think about a multicultural city like Karachi, then that kind of multilingualism should be maintained by the children, and the schools should encourage the children to maintain it so that they can reach out to more and more people rather than restrict themselves to a smaller and smaller community with which they can engage. So it is also said that there is a contrast between what we call linguistic geostrategies and linguistic political strategies. Now, linguistic geostrategies are actually the strategies that are used within a given context by the people when they come across other people with different languages. How they communicate, how to interchange certain words, how they make the meaning clear. This is all about geostrategies. And this is different from political strategies in which one language is imposed by the state and the people are made to learn that language. Well, that seems to be okay, but usually they are made to learn those languages at the expense of other languages. In that sense, people become more restricted in their communication and their educational experience is not enriched, but it becomes crippled. So, bilingual education, it is argued, has never been so important in all its complexity and forms as it is today. This is because we are as people, we are not just interested in communicating with people living in our immediate surroundings, but we are now interested in engaging with people who are outside the boundaries of the nation state and whom we might never actually meet, but we still want to know what are they saying, what are their hopes, aspirations, and how can we connect with them. So in this world, monolingual education is only restricting people to a smaller social capital rather than bigger one, and it is highly inappropriate. So why don't we do anything about it? We do not do anything about it because the ideologies about the hegemony of certain languages, for instance, English language in Pakistan, they are so strong that the potential of bilingual education is not realized, and we just look upon the whole phenomena as something that is bad. So even within classrooms, when teachers use, for instance, Urdu, because they think that it is important to explain a concept or in a textbook that has been written in English, usually they are left with a sense of guilt. And officially, if it is in schools, it's really looked down upon, and teachers are strongly made to sort of revert to English only. But we are not saying over here not to teach one language, for instance, English, and just to teach Urdu or just to teach Gujarati. What we are talking about is a linguistic equilibrium. That is a state in which the different languages operational in the wider society can be carefully maintained and thought about as legitimate in an educational institution.